Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, please stand for our national anthem. And they're off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Belmont Park on a beautiful June day. Sunny skies, the temperature will be in the high 80s. The main track is fast, the turf courses are firm. Portable rails are up at 18 feet on both the Widener and the inner. No carryover in the pick six, and right now, if you'll turn to your programs, we'll go over the changes for today's 10-race card. In the first race, there are no changes, and there are no changes in the second. Today's third race is the Wild Applause Stakes. Scratch number 2, Al Kahira. Scratch the 2, and please note, there'll be no show, trifecta, or superfecta. No show, tri, or super on the third. In the fourth race, no changes. The fifth race today will begin the pick six. Once again, no carryover. Sixth race, scratch number 9, Hop Picker. Scratch the 9, Hop Picker, out of race 6. No changes in the seventh. Today's eighth race, the Grade 2 Mother Goose Stakes. Scratch number 3, Midnight Stroll. Scratch the 3, and again, please note, there'll be no show, trifecta, or superfecta. Race 8, the Mother Goose, is the first leg of today's cross-country pick 5. In the ninth race, scratch number 1, Dark Storm. Scratch the 1, Dark Storm, out of the ninth. 10 races on the card today. In race 10, we have these scratches. Scratch 4, Sinfully Sweet. 6, Eyes of Malibu Moon. Scratch 13, Cindy's Choice. 15, Lollygag. And 16, Mo de Morning Grouch. Scratch 4, 6, 13, 15, and 16. We have a rider change on number 5, Writer's Room, to Flavian Pratt. Flavian Pratt will ride number 5, Writer's Room, in race 10. Main track fast, turf course is firm. We'll be back at 12:30 to reprise the changes. First race post is at 1 p.m. Up next, Talking Horses.
again, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses. Acacia Clement alongside Anthony Stabile, the A-Train. One more time.
Yes. It's warm up here today.
It is a little toasty.
A-Train is with the air. Can somebody turn the AC on, please?
We need the AC on the air
AC?
air train.
Would somebody turn the other AC on, please?
AC? Yeah, we need the AC on the A-Train. Ready to roll out of the station. We have the wild applause, the Mother Goose today.
If you have a chance in between Talking Horses and the start of America's Day at the Races, which is about, depending on how quickly we get through Talking Horses, about 8 minutes, go to YouTube. Go take a look at the 1991 Mother Goose, or as we call it around here, the mother of all gooses. Yeah. Light, and the winner, Meadow Star, in one of the most thrilling horse races you will ever see, especially from about the 3/8 pole to the wire. One of my favorite races of all time. I was a big Meadow Star and Jerry Bailey fan. She got the job done. Light would turn the tables in the Coaching Club American Oaks back when it was 1.5 miles a few weeks later, but the mother of all gooses. It was run the day after one of my favorite Belmont stakes with Hansel holding off Strike the Gold in 91. So go back and take a look. There was a poster we gave out here at Naira, two-sided. I still have it somewhere in the garage.
Oh, cool.
Love this thing. Bailey won both photos with Hansel and Meadow Star. The Meadow Star photo took about 12 minutes, and I won $50 off of one of MC Hammer's entourage guys.
Did you?
I did. Betting the
Is
photo.
that the day that he was wearing the vest
Yes,
with no
it was.
shirt? Yeah.
Him and Carl Icahn owned Meadow Star. Him and Carl Icahn bet $250,000 on the side. When I think the purse was 125 back then, maybe. I don't know, but they bet $250,000.
That's me. And Andy Sterling was telling me that, I mean, he was awesome. He took a photo with every single kid.
He was great.
At the racetrack.
Hammer
You're
was
really,
awesome.
really into it. Yeah.
He was. Yeah. I think I have a picture with him too. But it was great. But I took that 50 off his man when my girl won the photo. I mean, it is the mother of all gooses. Go back and take a look at the 1991 Mother Goose.
Worth a trip down memory lane, that's for sure. Today, we hope that you are playing along with all the action with us on here today. You could do so with an Ira Bets account. If you don't have an account already, that has to be very few of you at this point. But for those of you that don't,
what are you
doing? You
can
sign up. Use promo code MATCH200 and get up to a $200 deposit match bonus. Go to NairaBets.com or download the app for all of that. And as we've been previewing over the last couple of days, the 5 days a week bonus. As you see the dates there for next week, June 27th to July 1st. Anthony will have a play a day for you next week. You opt in on Monday, play every weekday, and get a bonus on Saturday.
We'll put them up the day before. There'll be actually 2 plays in case somebody scratches, because you want to make sure you get to your 20. And they'll be put up the day before. You can go to NairaBets.com and go under Expert Picks. Why they have me there, I have no idea. That's the only place we have found on the website for me. And then it'll be tweeted out. They'll be tweeted out as well from Naira Bets, and I'll retweet them from my account as well.
There's also a bonus today. If you're playing Belmont Park already, you could bet $75 each at Belmont, Churchill, and Thistledown. Ohio Derby Day over at Thistledown. You have the Chicago, a super competitive dirt sprint race for the fillies and mares at Churchill today. And Belmont Park, you get $25 back. Make sure you opt in at NairaBets.com. Looking forward to all that great stakes action. Some nice horses lined up for the Ohio Derby today.
Yeah, a lot of fun today. I like Ethereal Road a lot. There's a it's part of the Cross Country Pick 5. I don't know if we have a slate for the Cross Country Pick 5. The Cross Country Pick 5 consists of, wow, I'm drawing a blank here. It's race 8 here, race 11, I believe, at Monmouth, race 10 at Thistle, race 9 at Churchill, and race 11 at Thistle. There'll be a ticket up at Naira Bets. I like Ethereal Road a lot in the Ohio Derby.
And you can follow all the action from Belmont and Churchill a little bit later on today. We've got you covered on America's Day at the Races Saturday card here for FS1 from 12:30 to 4, FS2 from 4 to 6. So we hope you'll tune in with all of us on America's Day at the Races. We'll be looking forward to all of that coverage coming up a little bit later on today. You'll be on late today?
Yeah, I'm on the 4 to 6.
Nice.
FS2.
I'm on all day pretty much.
Wow.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
The
A-Train keeps rolling.
A-Train keeps rolling. Looking forward to it, though. We have a fun way to kick off the card, too, with New York-bred 2-year-olds starting here in race number 1 as we see them go 5 furlongs And I thought this was interesting. You and I both go to Gambling Girl, who scratched out of the 2-year-old filly race yesterday.
She had to.
She
When
had
you were
to,
entered
was
the next
entered
day,
the
yes.
next day. So that's how things work as far as the rule does go. She actually has a pretty big pedigree, as they paid $200,000 as a yearling for a dialed in. That's quite a bit for a dialed in. In the second generation, the second dam, you have the Take Charge Lady family. That line is in there as well. But just in general, $200,000 for a dialed in at the New York bred yearling sale up in Saratoga, I thought was pretty key, and she will run here instead.
Yeah. She makes a lot of sense. Like you said, finds a spot. Flavien Prat going to ride her on debut. A couple of nice workouts, including a bullet 2 works back. You and I kind of talked about this. Like to see the gate work and then a maintenance work or 2 from the pole. That's exactly what she has. We both landed on the horse that will likely be she's 8-5 right now. She'll probably be right around that price when they ring the bell for the
You used
opener.
in second the #1 song parody for Kelly Breen. Had a really nice 2-year-old firster, Andiamo Firenze, a couple weeks ago. His firster yesterday, I believe, ran second.
Yes, on the
Yes,
turf, right?
ran well. The 2-year-old race yesterday.
Oh, the 2-year-old race, I'm sorry.
Song parody, as well as this one. She's a filly, bright, practical joke. The dam was pretty precocious, too. You'd expect with Jose Ortiz. We'll see if she shows some interest from the inside. That's always adventurous for those young horses.
Yeah, she had a little she's been working steadily since she got up here in mid-April. So 8 works since coming up here. And, yeah, she looks ready to roll. We'll see, like you said, Acacia, how much speed she has from her rail draw.
I'm intrigued by Recognize. Again, the last 2 workouts were from the gate, typically something that I stay away from a bit. I've had the chance to watch quite a few of the Belmont 2-year-olds training up in Saratoga, and I don't know if I've seen this one, but Bolt d'Oro, as we know, has had 6 2-year-old winners on the track already.
Crazy number. That's a crazy number.
It's crazy, and they've sold really well, and they're immediately performing
well.
on the racetrack, which doesn't always happen either. The dam is the sister to Echo Bluff, who's the dam of Grade 1 winner Currency Swap. And this is one who sold for $270,000 at the Keeneland September sale. I was just intrigued. I'll be interested to see how ready this one is and how she breaks as well.
Yeah, a couple of gate works. The pole works look better
Yeah.
on paper than the gate works. So we'll see how she gets out of there. But I had a little interest in her as well.
The one with experience, we'll touch on her quickly, as she does come in for Parks, bet of the century. I had her in third. You didn't use her at all. The blinkers do go on. We'll take a stroll over to Parks. Very green, first time out. But she was one who did run second on debut. She was erratic all over the place. As you can see, the gray filly to the outside. The blinkers go on today. Hopefully she'll be more professional, but she's the only one with a race under her belt in this field.
Yeah, maybe she stays straight last time. She gets the money.
Yep.
Running behind the winner there, you see. Yeah, we'll see. I thought there were just some more interesting fillies who hadn't faced a starter yet.
Race number 2 will be going on the inner turf, New York bred allowance race, a mile and an 1/8 here. And let's start with Rayon, because we do have the last race for her back on May 30th. She didn't get out of the gate well, and she was almost kind of like she stumbled a little bit coming out and then was bumped on either side. She finished second behind Out of Sight, who wired the field.
Yeah, she didn't really have much of a chance the way the race unfolded. A pretty tepid pace up front, set by repeat winner Out of Sight. And when they turn for home, Out of Sight's just gone. And having not been bothered at all on the front end, you would imagine she was going to parlay that into a victory. Mayum ran well. Kind of had a similar trip to the one she had when she broke her maiden. She was a little bit closer last time, but they went a little slower than they did in her debut. She was able to pass horses up along the inside, and she ran well enough. She regressed as far as her buyer figure goes from debut to her second start, but I would imagine with a little improvement, she could be right there.
She was second last time out. You go to home for Christmas. Is this a speed play?
It is. That's all it is. Exactly right. Yeah, you know me well. I think Joelle just puts her on the lead from the round. You mentioned the inner turf, so I'd rather be inside. especially for the filly that has some speed. And quite frankly, there's just no other speed in here. We've seen Joelle do this. Preposterous, I guess, from the outside draw, if Manny Franco wants to be aggressive, could be aggressive and at least vie for the lead. But I would imagine Joelle's going to come out of there running with Home for Christmas and assert himself from the rail with his filly. Yeah, I guess Preposterous could cause him some trouble, but I'm hoping that he's able to establish and maintain a lead.
The one thing about Preposterous is that she really didn't show any speed in her only 2 turf races.
Right.
And I know that she was headstrong in her debut up at Saratoga, but she really didn't show any speed at all. And then the only time that she showed a lot of speed was when it was that off the turf race, and then that was followed by a layoff. And she comes back on the dirt once again, doesn't run that well, now back on the turf. It just kind of feels like they're searching a bit with her. Tactically, I guess that would be the only kind of thing that you'd worry about in here. I thought Home for Christmas could potentially be loose on the inside.
Me too. Yeah.
We'll see how
I'll try and get her home that way. If I can see a loose speed or a horse who I think could be loose speed on this inner turf with that inside draw, I'm going to gravitate towards them.
We'll see if she will indeed be home for Christmas as we have stakes action coming up in the 3rd race. A mile on the turf, the Wild Applause for the 3-year-old fillies. A scratch of the 2 Alcahira. That means we are left with a compact field. Let's start down to the inside with the 1 Oakhurst, who we both landed on. I know that she broke her maiden on the Tapeta down at Gulfstream. It took her a couple of races to get there. She took, I thought, a huge step forward last time out, so we'll take a look at that last race at Keeneland.
An unbelievable step forward. Almost 40 points from the maiden win, 20 points better than anything she had run in her 2 prior turf races as we take a look at that Keeneland allowance race. Yeah, she really...
Okay, no replay on that
no
one.
Replay. So what we could tell you is she was far back early, and she was in front at the wire. And now we have it. Look at that.
You ask and you shall receive.
Yes, yep. If you will it is no dream. And
she was far back. She kind of made that middle move. She was cruising on the outside and then had to be coming from off of it to try and run down some decent horses on the front end too. And she was just full of run. That's what I liked it. It wasn't just that she got a good trip and she closed. She was full of run coming down to the wire.
Widest of all. And you see, she still, green's the wrong word, but she kind of runs in spots a little, Acacia. Yeah. But when she gets to getting, she really has an acceleration. And, you know, in the 4-horse field, cutting back from the mile on a 16th to the mile, ordinarily those would be concerns. But I think the smaller field actually helps her because it'll bunch. And of what I've seen from the other 3 fillies in here, she has the most potent kick.
She also, I know that she was far back last time, but she wasn't as far back when she broke her maiden at Gulfstream 2 starts back. And as we look at Breeze Easy, if we have the replay of her first U.S. start, that was in the Grade 3 Soaring Softly, and she ran a big race, and it was her first race in the U.S. She faced the talented Charty Party. She wasn't the sharpest out of the gate. She was a little bit headstrong early, and even in her races over in Europe, she's been one that tends to come from off of it. That's just my concern with this compact field.
I am wondering, now everything you said, and they're all valid points. I'm wondering if she is just naturally on the lead here. If Joelle knows everything you just said. If Joelle can get her out of the gate today, she's another one, you know, much like Home for Christmas.
She was a little keen at the back last time, too.
There's no speed in here. I mean, there is.
With Alcahira out.
Alcahira out. I mean, Alcahira is not even ultra fast early, but she was going to have a huge tactical advantage in here. I would imagine Joelle just puts this filly on the front end if she breaks from the gate. So, if not, I guess Lakota Spirit could go. You liked Lakota Spirit a lot last time. Had to overcome the outside draw. She exited.
I had been waiting to see her on the turf.
She exited some dirt races that were fast enough to get her to the lead in here. And I would imagine now with Alcahira out, that she's projected to be on the lead.
I think Eminent Victor is the wild card of this race. she doesn't have any speed either, and the blinkers come off. But she was one who obviously had a lot of talent as a 2-year-old, ran third in the Natalma behind Wild Beauty, who is a Charlie Appleby talented Godolphin runner, and then Pizza Bianco in the Breeders' Cup. And she was actually one who just maybe hadn't really figured things out completely in that race yet, and yet we don't see her now until she comes back as a 3-year-old. She's kind of the wild card of what type of horse is she coming back this year.
Yeah, we'll see what she does. Had the big race on the Tapeta, had a good race on the turf course up at Woodbine. We'll see how she, she's another one. She just doesn't seem to have any early gas. She might be the one most affected because she's the one coming off the considerable layoff, and looks to be the one that is the slowest of these 4 fillies.
That's our first of 2 stakes on the day. We go on to race number 4, New York bred maiden claiming race for $25,000, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. We land on the same horse in here, Jet Set Juliet, who just plain and simple ran so much better on the main track in her debut.
Yeah, they brought her back on the turf, and she looked like she was maybe needed another work or another, or certainly the race is going to be beneficial to her. She looks like she's going to be forward in here. There's some other speed in the race. She looks like she should be forward, but I think she'll appreciate the return to the main track with the race under her belt off the layoff.
The number 5, Darn That Song. She was actually the favorite last time on a wet track off the race, or off the turf race. She had been running actually some decent races in New York Bred Maiden Specialweight Company on the main track prior to that. I don't know if she didn't handle the wet track, what it was, but she does come in here for $25,000. It's our first fast main track for a claiming tag.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thinking. I'd give her another chance after that poor effort last time.
I didn't like the move to the turf. I didn't like the drop last time. I don't like the drop again today. She's going to be one of the favorites in here. I think she's a little vulnerable.
The number 3, Dancing Rosalie, a first-time starter by Run Happy. You had a little interest in this one.
Yeah, I think this. I was told this horse could run a little bit. Now, that is not necessarily a tip, because if you tell me you can run a little bit and you're debuting for $25,000, that's not a tip to me. But I think the horse is going to run well today. So, and David Aragona made her a shorter price than Jet Set Juliet on the morning. I don't know if that was an indictment on Jet Set Juliet or if he had heard some rumblings that she had a chance today as well. But I just didn't prefer any of the other runners in here. Lady Yellen has had enough chances for me.
Yeah.
And she's going to be part of a solid pace. So I put the first who I wouldn't say there's a buzz. There's more like a bzz. Not a complete buzz. Bzz.
Not a single, not a long buzz, just
not
a little,
long, like a bzz.
A buzzette.
It's like a bzz. It's like that.
We'll see how that pans out. Race number 5, New York bred, other than 7 furlongs on the main track for fillies and mares. And the race goes through the number 1, Fingal's Cave. We will take a look at her monster debut score. Now, the big question is, Anthony, can she repeat this effort? The filly that was the favorite coming into this race, Royal Currency, was scratched in the paddock that day. The second place finisher, Mrs. Boomer, came back in 4th yesterday, but she seemed to bolt reacting to the kickback. There was a lot of odd things happening in the race, so I don't think you can hold it too much against her.
No, but we talked about this a little bit yesterday. She was 6-5 by default.
Right.
When the 2-5 favorite scratched in the paddock. The second horse was your 5-2 second choice. Regardless of the trouble yesterday, she really didn't run a step yesterday.
Right.
It's a concern, yes, obviously. But she faces 5 rivals today.
I had a tough time picking somebody for second.
I mean, if you would have given Dave Donk and the connections the ability to go pick out 5 rivals today, I don't know if they could have done a better job. So this kicks off the pick 6. It's a fun sequence. We got the Mother Goose later on. I think you get your free bingo square here because, like you said, I put Gringotts second. I mean, I think that says enough. I have nothing to add.
Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I'm sorry.
I don't know if I know this about you.
I have not watched 1 second or read 1 word of a Harry Potter movie or book.
I feel like I knew this. Yeah, you give me a hard time about the Karate Kid.
Yeah. The Karate Kid's been around 40 years.
Harry Potter is like part of my upbringing.
Right. Well, I also
Like
have
woven into the fabric of my
I have
life.
15 years on you, little A. You're not just little A because you're diminutive in size compared to me. I have 15. I mean, look at this. I was looking at this before. We were doing a triple play hit for tomorrow. I can't believe all of the gray. And I don't know if the jacket's bringing it out today. I feel old today. Sitting next to you, Joey Martinez running around in here. Yeah, I just feel old. Did you see all this gray in here? Thanks for the single, Alex. I appreciate it. All the grays in here. Gotta go for a train. Gotta go see my man Ruben.
You look good.
I look okay. I look okay, as Teddy KGB would say from Rounders.
Let me ask you this, though. If you win, get some nice winning tickets today, you won't care.
No, I won't care.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
We
Big
take a
bankroll,
quick break
don't care.
here.
We're
next
doing race
race?
5? No, this is it.
Yeah.
We'll come back with the
All
late
right.
pick 5.
We'll take a quick break here, and we'll come back late pick 5 on the turf after this on Talking Horses.
Who you betting on? How about an app created specifically for horse racing? Naira Bets. We specialize in thundering hooves, fist pumping, and boosting your bankroll with robust weekly promotions. And offer betting tips from actual horse racing experts. Bet all day and night, nationwide. Get the action and thrill of horse racing with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. Acacia and Anthony, the A-Train. Choo-choo. Bringing you the late pick 5.
Having way too much fun this week.
Yeah.
Back to work on Thursday.
Andy's going to be ready for you. He really is.
I get 5 days
He's
next
going to be
week.
fresh off the layoff.
For those of you wondering, too, by the way, because I had a few people ask me downstairs yesterday and Thursday, actually. So we have a 5-day week next week. We will run Thursday. There's racing on Thursday, June 30th through Monday, July 4th. We'll celebrate Independence Day with a live card on Monday. And then we have the short week to wrap the meet up Friday the 8th through Sunday the 10th. So keep that in mind. 5-day week next week starting Thursday to Monday, and then Friday to Sunday to wrap things up.
And we have a great card coming up the rest of the day today as well. By the way, it's Pride Day at Naira this afternoon. So if you're on track, make sure you check out. There's great information, great opportunity to take a look at the Trevor Project. Does life-saving work for the LGBTQ community. And we want to wish all of the LGBTQ community a very happy Pride Month, Pride Weekend. You're loved.
Parade's tomorrow,
see you.
right?
We appreciate it. The parade tomorrow. The festival tomorrow in New York City, but Pride Day today at Naira. We have the rainbow flag in the infield as well. So very proud to work for a company that celebrates equality for all.
Watching my friend Roger Clark on New York 1 during the week. I think this is the first time it's been live in 3 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we wish everybody a wonderful weekend as well. We dive into late pick 5 coming up here, 1 1/16 on the inner turf, maiden special weight for the fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. And you have no love for Curamonte. I like her a lot today.
I know, which scares me because the last time Acacia liked the horse a lot in a race I loved and bet a lot of money on, Libretto, it was Dakota Spirit. I tore, she cashed. So, I will be including Curamonte in my late pick 5 today now. Actually, I won't. Tickets already up. 2, 3, and 6 to kick things off. Sorry, little A.
That's
I did not know.
All right.
I'm going to give Libretto one more chance. I sent the Meseta full divorce papers in yesterday.
Yeah.
These will be drawn up by the lawyers today.
Okay.
I've decided that when I marry myself to horses now, they're going to be very brief. It's going to be like Liz Taylor's marriages. Would she have 7 or 8? They're all going to be like Liz Taylor marriages.
She went back a couple times to Richard
yeah,
Burton, though,
yeah.
so, you know, Meseta, things may not be over
Well,
yet.
no, Meseta, it's over. Other people get second chances and third chances and 11 chances. Meseta, no, those papers, that's been cleared. That's in the Queen's Court already. Those things are wrapped up. These are next. Libretto gets one more chance. Back to Trevor today. Blinkers come off. You know, there were a few changes made last time. The rider changed, the equipment changed. I understand that. But this horse ran well enough first. She ran well enough first time out where I would have left well enough alone.
Yeah.
And part of the reason Jorge Abreu ordinarily wins races in bunches is he leaves well enough alone. I like the fact that he tried things differently last time. He hit the reset button today. Back to Trevor. Back to naked face. Let's see if we get the job done at like 4-1.
Yeah, she really is right back to basics today. Filly by Fastnet Rock. I agree with you. I think she's a major player. You do have Kiramonte and Beachfront Bid coming out of a race on May 14th at Churchill. And as we've talked about quite a bit, this turf course is quirky. We'll take a look at that race.
Churchill's. She means Churchill's turf course, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
Churchill's turf course was quirky, and there is no turf racing
It's
at
gone
Churchill
now.
because things weren't working. So Kiramonte breaks slow. You do see Beachfront Big kind of going on with it. She's up in that first flight. Now, the horses that were outside closing did seem to have a better time of it in the stretch, which Kiramonte was. I get that. But she was a first-time starter. I would expect some improvement from her in her next start for Brendan Walsh. She's a filly by Caravaggio, who you would think would be able to handle the mile on the 16th, no problem. She was closing on the left lead. Beachfront Bid was there kind of just running in place as she always does in the center of the track. I left her out completely, Beachfront Bid, just because I've kind of had enough of her. She runs fine. She runs pretty much the same race every time. But Kiramonte, I thought, was one with the license for improvement.
Okay. I don't prefer her, but I get it. I do. I'm hoping Manny's a little more aggressive with Beachfront Bid today. And we've seen a lot of these horses that Manny Franco gets on. He has been more aggressive with them. I think that's part of the reason Chad's been using him as much.
Yeah.
Number one, he's been riding very, very well. Locked and loaded, as I like to say. Two, I think he's been getting these horses into the game a little earlier. So I'm wondering if that's why the rider change is being made today. That's why I included her. And I thought with bells on, Jose Lascano going to climb aboard.
Well, Ryder Ortiz is out of town today, too.
Yeah, Rad's out of town. So is Kendra Carmouche. He's riding Maracuja, among others, over at Thistledown. With bells on, I thought ran well last time.
She did.
I would like to see, and I use a 2, 3, and 6 in the late pick 5. I would like to see Jose Lascano blast her off. Like try and get some separation in here. Maybe some of the inside fillies have an edge on this inner course, the way the mile on the 16th set up. But Jose knows the course well enough, and Jose is very good at getting horses to the front end and clearing. I would imagine he's going to try to get with bells onto the front, cross and clear, and I think that make her dangerous today. So I'm going to use the 2, 3, and 6.
The number 4 Vagaries, I think, is the wild card. I remember her kind of being the quote-unquote other horse in her debut at Saratoga. Kinshin was in that race, and then it seemed like she was primed and ready to take a big step forward in her next start, and she was part of the pace, and then she just faded, and then we just haven't seen her since October. Question is, what do we get from her coming back as a 3-year-old?
I didn't like either of her 2-year-old
Me neither.
races.
Me neither.
She's the favorite in here. She's going to take some Pratt money. She beats me. She beats me. It sounds foolish to say about Chad Brown and Flavien Pratt, but the fact of the matter is she's going to be 2-1. I think there's some chalk to deal with later on in the sequence, so I'm going to try and get this one.
And there could be some quality in this race.
Yes.
So it'll be fun to see who breaks their maiden in race number 6. We stay on the turf. 7 furlongs on the grass for race 7. $50,000 non-winners of 2 in life claiming race for 3-year-olds and upward. You go to the number 3 Ginsu Warrior. What do you like about this one?
Mile on the 16th was too far. 6 furlongs was too short. I'm hoping the 7 furlongs is the porridge.
The
And it's
Goldilocks
just right.
effect, as Richie
Absolutely
Migliori
right.
would say.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping. And I thought this horse ran well enough. Just ran out of real estate last time. Gets a little bit more real estate. Gets Dylan Davis in the boot. Going to be a decent enough price, too. And you want to know what, Acacia? I just don't trust the horses that they're going to make short prices in here. I've seen enough of Brazilian Air, 1 for 11 in his career. I've seen enough of Cousin Andrew, 1 for 11 in his career. I guess Vocalize. I'll tell you what, though. I don't like these horses. I put them second. I do not like these horses claimed off of Todd Pletcher.
Yes,
that is
I agree with
ordinarily
you on that
something
one.
I stay away from, but he ran so well last time. And without the trust in the rest of these horses, that was first time tag last time and first time cutting back to a sprint since the debut, I think he has to be respected in here.
Vocalize, loved him last time out. He was one that I'd been waiting to see cut back after seeing his 3 races down at Gulfstream in the winter. And then when he sprinted in his debut, American Starlet just wired the field. The Big Evasion turned out to be a stakes horse. He was a horse that just needed to kind of get some races underneath of him. He comes back at what seems to be the proper next level. But the question is, as you mentioned, can he do it away from Todd Pletcher? I went to Ghostly Prince. I don't know if I really loved anybody out of that May 27th race, but at least he's second off the layoff. He finished 3rd that day, closing okay. Manny Franco stays. As far as him versus Cousin Andrew, I thought this horse would be a little bit of a better price. I agree with everything you said about Brazilian Air coming off of a good race too, cutting back. He comes back actually in just 7 days, too, off the claim for Tom Morley, and could be a major player in this spot. He's one of those horses that could win. It's just, can you really trust him in a race like this?
Yeah, and do I want him going 7 furlongs? I don't think I do. So he was another one. Another favorite I left out of the pick 5 sequence, the late pick 5 sequence, to try and beat. I think the morning line favorites in races 6 and 7 are very vulnerable. And I think and we'll talk about the Mother Goose in a minute, I think you needed to try to find a little value in here. I'm not one of these people that go looking for value. I shouldn't say that. I don't go into handicapping a race saying, all right, I'm going to beat the favorite. But if I find a reason to, I will pounce on it. I don't do much pouncing, but I will pounce on trying to beat what I think are vulnerable favorites. And I think the horses in the 6th and 7th races are vulnerable morning line favorites.
Speaking of the Mother Goose, it comes to race number 8 today, a mile and a 16th on the main track for the 3-year-old fillies. Grade 2 event, a scratch of Midnight Stroll, who was kind of the outlier of the field already, but really, at the end of the day, you could have made some sort of case for her to potentially run well in this spot, too. You're left with 4 fillies, all of which could get the job done, but the race does seem to go through Juju's map. We'll take a look at her 3-year-old return race last time out at Churchill Downs. Yes, it was in an allowance field, Anthony, but it was against older filly and mares. And Brad Cox said if she's at the level that I think she is, she should be able to beat older at this point, and she did, and showed them exactly what they wanted to see.
She didn't beat older. She drowned older last time. First race off of the November layoff, so it was essentially 6 months from her good runner-up performance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies to Echo Zulu, who was undefeated at the time. She romps. What impressed me was, as easy as the win was, the figure came back her best figure to date.
Yeah.
So it shows you that not only was she ready, but she took the step forward from 2 to 3, which I don't deal in absolutes. That is always a concern, especially with the fillies. I think the fillies have established that you see more. It's a little bit more erratic when it comes to the fillies for whatever reason. From 2 to 3, and then even more importantly from 3 to 4. Sometimes you just don't see it. The Colts and Geldings, it's a little more even keeled with the fillies, and this is just experience, right? And you can go back to dozens of examples. She's obviously taken the step forward. I would imagine Florent Drew's just going to put her on the lead.
Yep.
Because, I think Gerrymander's interesting in here. I think Shahama is going to take some money off of a performance that I think looks better than it actually is.
I agree with that, but I did like her UAE races.
We talked about this.
Yeah.
I did too. But I don't want to bet her off of her UAE races. I don't want to bet her off what looks like a better performance on paper in the Oaks than I think it actually was. She is going to be the clear-cut second choice in here, right? And if Juju's map hadn't beaten older horses and one, she probably would have vied for favoritism because there was some buzz around her. She was only 12-1 in a Kentucky Oaks.
She was undefeated coming in too.
She was only 12-1 in a Kentucky Oaks that you had a lot of places to put your wagering dollar. So I think the race looks better on paper than it was on the track, and I'm going to try and beat her for second. I'm actually going to make 2 exactas in here. I'm going to make a 5-4, and then I'm going to make a little saver of 5-2. I would imagine Venti Valentine, who did not have a great time of it from the 3/8 pole to the wire in the Kentucky Oaks, is going to get a little bit of a better setup in here. They're not going to put her on the lead like they did 2 starts back in the Gazelle. And her races at Belmont, she's a filly who's running style. The one turn kind of suits her, as does the big sweeping turn here at Belmont Park. We don't put 3 picks up for 4-horse fields, but I had a hard time separating Gerrymander and Venti Valentine for second. But my bet in here is going to be to try to fade Shahama for place.
Shahama, the half-sister to... Should I pull an Andy? Should I quiz you on Shahama's pedigree?
I don't know who it is.
She's the half-sister to Looking at Lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money with Looking at Lucky in the 2012 Preakness.
Yeah.
2010 Preakness. Wow, that was
Preakness,
12 years ago?
Haskell. Yeah. So pedigree's there for
Yikes.
distance. As she
Pedigree,
started out
Acacia,
sprinting.
pedigree.
All about the pedigree. No, I just think it's a fun thing to know as well.
Got me yesterday with Casa Creed, too.
Yeah.
That's 2 in a row.
There could be more. Race number 9, a mile and an eighth on the inner turf, a $25,000 claiming race, 3-year-olds and upward. Let's start with Big Agenda, as he and Grand Journey do come out of the same race back on April 30th, separated by just a neck. Big Agenda was claimed out of that race for Rob Atras. Grand Journey claimed out of that race for Merdkan Cantormasi. And these two, they put on a good show down to the wire.
You know, when I first looked through this race, I thought about taking my bingo drum out. Just loading all the numbers in, save the main track onlys, and just picking 4 numbers.
I like it.
Then I went back and looked at the race again. And sometimes, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Mm-hmm. And that's what I decided to do in here. I'm going to take the first time Rob Atras claim over the first time.
Worked with Land Biscuit.
Worked with Land, not Seabiscuit.
Yep.
And Grand Journey going for the Hot Barn. I understand wanting to get a little creative in here. Mm-hmm. I decided not to. You know, the horse I would have gotten creative with was Smile Brian. But I decided not to try to get goofy. I liked Smile Brian a lot last time. He was officially eased, yet they allowed the claim to go through. Mm-hmm. Which leads me to believe
comes back relatively
there's a story.
soon.
He's off 2 months, and he's in for the same they claimed him for. If you're looking, I'm not looking to get goofy in here, folks. If you want to get goofy, the horse I would get goofy with is Smile Brian. I'm not doing it. For the record, I'm not doing it. But Big A off is one of the best angles. Andy's not here. I think the stat's like 88% Big A off. So I'm not using him. But if you want to get creative in here, he'd be the horse I get creative with. I decided not to. I decided to just chicken out and take the obvious. But I'm saying, full disclosure, it would not surprise me if a little chaos ensued in this heat.
I'm hoping that could be the case. I thought Takafumi was a little interesting. If you sift through the turf races down at the fairgrounds and in the Mid-Atlantic prior are strong, and the numbers stack up in here. Jose Ortiz rides, and we actually saw Jose Camejo with an upset win yesterday with Irad Ortiz in the saddle,
He was pumped, by the way.
Really pumped up.
What was that all about?
Well, he's friends. Jose Camejo used to be a jockey. Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was. Irad was, that was like Lady Eli in the Flower Bowl a few years ago.
He said Jose Camejo was
here.
texting him prior, I really want to win at Belmont. I'm really excited.
That's great.
I think he was really, really pumped up to win for his friend.
That's
cool.
great.
It was a cool
I mean,
moment.
Irad's happy to win like a game of Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah.
So
but he's just a little competitive.
that's good.
Yeah.
That was good. It was good to see. It was fun to see. That was a big price, too.
Yeah.
It was probably a bigger price than he should have been.
Agreed. There was a lot going on in that race.
Yep.
Tight photo finish. So
Especially-
we'll see.
including-
Takafumi's off
including
a
a
little
divorce.
bit. Yeah. Off a little bit of a layoff here. But the race 2 starts back on the turf. I really liked the way that he did it. So we'll see. I thought this was a race that you could get a little cute. But like you said, 5'10s, they're the ones coming off of that big effort.
I thought Artemis Bridge raced really well off the December layoff as well last time. Jack the Cat, Hieroglyphics both in here again.
Yeah.
I would, off the bench, Hieroglyphics had a couple of races under his belt. Jack the Cat had a race as well. I thought Artemis Bridge may have ran best because he was facing the layoff, and we'll see how he does. And he's going to be the better price of those. Well, Hieroglyphics will probably be a bigger price, but I think he might be the best price of those 3.
And I did actually write my notes last time. Big, heavy horse needs a race off the layoff.
So there you go.
We'll see as we get one more race to go. New York Bred Maiden Specialway in the nightcap. This is a fun one. 6 furlongs on the turf, fillies and mares. We'll take a look at Quick Power Nap, who did debut in Saratoga. West Point Thoroughbreds, they were very excited about her that day. She ran a good race. She was beaten by Derry Nain, and I remember this race well because my husband Miguel and I actually had a little side wager that involved key lime pie with Tom Bellhouse of West Point.
I had a big tip on this horse first time out, and then I was told that Derry Nain was not going to lose. I made a very large exacta. It was a good day.
Well done.
Yeah, it was fine. It worked out well.
It was a good day for you?
Yeah, it was. It worked out well. Been waiting to bet this horse back, see the trainer change. It was almost a year.
Yeah. It's been off a while.
Yeah, been sitting on this horse. Busy morning drawing in from the AE list. Pulling post 12 now. Probably a good thing for Quick Power Nap's price, though I still think Quick Power Nap will be the favorite come post time.
Quick Power Nap likely will. Busy morning, cuts back, has the outside here. I thought, well, you knew with the name I couldn't stay away from Wine Goddess.
Oh, I knew that.
Felt strongly about that. I thought Jorge Abreu's other runner, the first-time starter, Hikaru, a little interesting. Filly, that's the half-sister to Guardian Moon, who was that tipped-out turf horse that Abreu had in Saratoga a couple years ago. So we'll see if she's ready to roll at first asking as well. But that is the 10 of them. Been a lot of fun doing Talking Horses with you this week.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do it again soon, I'm sure.
Yes, we will. Want to remind everybody, you could sign up, play along with everything on Naira Bets. Use promo code MATCH200 for a $200 sign-up bonus. NairaBets.com or download the app today. We want you to have all of the access to that betting account, especially getting ready for Saratoga in just a couple weeks. Promo 5 days a week is in play. Opt in, play every weekday next week. Big Guy will have you covered as far as those tips are concerned. You could get a $20 bonus on Saturday. Make sure you opt in at NairaBets.com. Also opt in at NairaBets.com for the $25 bonus. Bet $75 each. Belmont, Churchill, and Thistledown today. Great graded stakes action at all 3 tracks, and you can get $25 back, win or lose. And finally, America's Day at the races, full team in play this afternoon. FS1 from 12:30 to 4 and FS2 from 4 to 6. That'll do it for us on this edition of Talking Horses. Have a great show today.
Thanks, you too. I'll be on all day. I'll be on 4 to 6.
I'm looking forward to it. Be reporting early as well. Make sure you join us there on Fox Sports 1 to kick things off. We send it up to track announcer John and Brielle for a reprise of Scratches and Changes.